What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, my fighters, and my Last of Us fans? I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about giving my review, breakdown, things I caught, Easter eggs, some stuff like that for The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 2. So spoiler warning, obviously, for the episode and the video games, all that stuff, spoiler warning. But overall, another solid episode. So in 2 episodes, we got the origin of the flower fungus connection. So it starts in Jakarta, Indonesia, September 24th, 2003, which is right on track for 2 days later in Austin, Texas, September 26th. So it's right on, par with the other episode and connects and all that good stuff. But we see people eating food in a restaurant, and there's this lady eating by herself, and she's a scientist that knows about the cordyceps fungus, and she's brought to a lab, and she's not sure why she's here. And she's like trying to figure it out, right? She's like, all right. And then the guy's like, just look at the specimen. And you could tell he didn't want the other lady to say anything. Like, nope, let her do it herself. Let her figure it out. And I want to hear what she says without any information. So she looks at the slide and she says that it's the Ophiocordyceps. And she says that that's not going to be connected with humans, but the slide was cleaned for that, and the cordyceps cannot survive in humans. So pretty interesting. I guess stuff has evolved, right? And then she's got the outbreak suit, not the yellow suit, but that's what I think of when I see the hazmat suits where she's walking in to a room, that movie Outbreak. But she goes in there and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And there's the specimen that's on the table, the human being that was bit on the leg. And then we find out that the fungus is inside this person, and it freaks this lady out, which it would, right? I mean, because you're like, oh, what's going on here? But we see the bite on her leg, and it's cool. Again, in 2 episodes, we already got the origin of the fungus and the start of it all. They didn't stretch it out. They did not give us the answer. It was just cool, and I'm glad we can move on from that, right? So we get to find out that it was a human bite. A lady worked at a flower factory, and it all started there in Indonesia. So as the scientist lady reaches inside the lady's mouth, she pulls out the living specimen of the fungus, which is moving and very much alive. To me, it's got like a parasite kind of vibe, but it's a fungus that can definitely take over, the nervous system and control the beings. But I don't see where this person was killed. There's no gunshot to the head unless I missed it. But then we see that the lady is talking to the military guy or the general, and he says, when did this happen? 30 hours ago. So again, we could see more of the origin, which is cool. We don't have to guess and wait and have to backtrack in this. They're starting off 2 episodes, answers right away. A flour and grain factory on the west side of the city. So that was a big theory that people were saying it's the flour or baked goods, and she says that it's the perfect substrate. So also Jakarta has a huge flour factory or mill or something. So we see that from the first episode with the biscuits, and this lady turned, so there was a connection there with the flour. So the theory was right. Pretty cool, and I'm glad that Joel was on Atkins and not going to eat it, and he's very much alive because of that. But then we hear about the other people at the factory, that they were attacked. 4 coworkers bit 3 of them. People are still missing, so they're still out there. They didn't get the person. It wasn't like patient 0 right there. This person was still out there spreading the fungus, and there was 14 people unaccounted for, so there was no catching it. And they talk about some stuff that was interesting. We brought you here to help us keep this from spreading, but that's inevitable. They need a vaccine, some medicine, which there's no hope for it, which is interesting because you think like, okay, vaccine, medicine, something to control it and stop the spread, or if you get it, you can fight it and still be okay. But this is disheartening because she says there is no medicine, there is no vaccine. The only way to stop it is a bomb. So the fact that she clearly says there is no vaccine and there's no medicine, what's the point with Ellie? She says a bomb. Bomb the area, stop it from spreading. Then we see the opening credits, but the very first scene after that is this. The light shining on Ellie. The hope, the future is in Ellie. Very symbolic. We look up, we see the light. It's just very symbolic. There's no way around it. There's no way there's not symbolism for hope with Ellie. And she's surrounded by all this moss or growth. And all I think about is, man, my allergies would be killing me. That's for sure. She wakes up. Joel and Tess are like, we've been watching you this whole time to see if you turn, because they think that she's infected. Even though she's immune. We know that she's immune if you know the video game, but she's immune. She's kind of thought of as the cure or the great hope for humanity, right? We see the bites have healed up and she's good. She's not infected. Well, I guess she is infected. She's going to come up as infected every time, but she's not one of those things. She's not a runner. She's not a stalker. She's not a clicker. She's not a bloater. She's not any of those things. Joel and Tess don't know what to believe about it, so we get the dialogue about them. Why are you so special? What's important about you? Why are they doing this? Joel has a hairline fracture in his hand from beating up the guard. I guess beating the guard to death. He talks about a hairline. It's a hairline fracture in his hand. Very common from, boxers and punching something repeatedly. You can have a fracture, and that's just more realism, right? He's eating beef jerky. They're not really eating well. Tess and Joel they're eating some nasty food right here. And then we see Ellie has this nice big sandwich. It's, again, one of the biggest sandwiches you'll find in the zombie apocalypse. But is that chicken? Tess asks. And she's like taking it in, talking about smugglers, other smugglers, not them. Maybe Bill, maybe someone like that. We'll find out next episode, hopefully. But we see Ellie has the attitude, and some people aren't liking the casting, but I think it's okay. It's not really that bad. I like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey and the lady who played Tess. Everybody's been good so far. Can't even complain about that. Also, the cityscape, the post-apocalyptic world with the fungus all over the place looks great. The CGI budget looks great. I wouldn't expect anything else. HBO does a great job. And the story so far is on par with the video game. And I believe the first season is going to be 9 episodes. So that's a good amount of time. They've been about an hour each episode. So that's a good amount of time of 9 hours or more. It's probably be longer than that because some of the episodes are more than an hour. And then you get to see the city. I believe they filmed this in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I might be saying that wrong. I don't know much about Canada, but I think it's in Calgary. But some people are pointing out the, cityscape, which looks great. And then we go into the hotel. And I love the fact that we see ducks and frogs and just other animals taking over because they don't care about the zombie apocalypse. They're just going about their day. Life finds a way, and animals are part of that. The animal kingdom is taking over. And I have to say, I love the frog, even though I don't think the frog weighs enough to push down the keys. But it's just kind of funny to see that. And the gross water, I'm glad Ellie says it. She's like, this is so gross, because I'd be saying the same thing. Look at the lily pads. And when they see them here, they step into the water, obviously, and they walk in the water. But later on, you see they're all dry. You're like, what are you doing here, right? You'd be soaked. Your jeans are not going to dry that fast, right? And when she was flipping the knife, I was like, whoa, that's dangerous. Don't be doing that. You can cut your finger off. What are you doing there, too? Joel and Ellie are talking, having forced conversations, and they're not there yet to bond, even though I think Ellie wants to bond, but Joel doesn't. Then we see all these zombies, right? They're just communicating with the fungus. And we learn about the fungus being underground and everything's wired together. And it's pretty cool to find more about the story. And like I say, the video game is the video game and the show is the show. Then they go into the museum. And I would think that people would steal this stuff, right? Just to have it somewhere. But we see the, Boston Tea Party and the History Museum. And like every good museum tour, it ends at the gift shop. You got to go to the gift shop, right? No, I'm just kidding. But they walk around and we find out about the clicker. We get to see 2 clickers. And if you know the video game, it's kind of a big deal because they can't see. You have to be stealth. You have to distract them and throw objects to do that. I wish they did that a little bit here, a little bit more video game-esque stuff. But we knew what was coming as video game players. But this is a clicker right there. Great job, awesome sounds, awesome look. The actors did a great job, and the action sequence was pretty great. And it had the feel like the video game where you have to hide and sneak and be quiet and do that too. I hope they have more aspects like that. I hope you're able to make the different tools and the shivs and the stuff there too for the weapons. I hope they do that in the show, but we'll have to see. But they take out the clickers after the chaos ensues. And like I said, it was a great scene with everything there. I don't know if you knew the video game or not, but these clickers are hard to take down. It's not just like, boom, one shot. It's like an axe or hammer to the head, and then boom, boom, shot, and then boom, a couple more shots. Double tap to the dome, right? Zombie land style. But they take out the 2 clickers, and then Tess hurts her ankle, and then Ellie is bit on the arm. I don't know how she got bit on the arm. She had long sleeves on, but it's just showing you the fact that she was bit and she's still not going to turn, so she's immune. They're just hammering that home. Then they go on the roof, and this again was another video game aspect because you have to find like a ladder or something long to connect the 2 spots. And that's what this represents right here when they already have it set up. But it just takes me back to the video games for sure. And as Ellie's walking across, she's not phased by it. I'd be a little phased because the ladder or the pieces of wood, I'm guessing here, it's just wood set up. It's only like 2 planks wide a little bit. I'd be like, can you give me another plank? But it's all right. It's kind of a cool thing to see. Again, the CGI looks great of the city. And this is probably a set with a blue screen behind it. But it takes us back to the video game for sure. But Tess hurts her ankle and she's okay. Later on, we find out that she was bit. I'm not sure if it was here or at some other point, but we see the Capitol building in the distance. And, this is an iconic shot. You could put it probably side by side of the video game and it would look really great. Then Tess comes behind and they're like, all right, let's get going. So they walk down the ladder and they just go about their day. Then they come to another building and I guess they're supposed to meet up with people and everyone's gone or everyone's killed. And we're not sure why they were killed or who killed them, but the big scene and the big stuff comes here. We knew Tess was going to die, but the way she dies is a little different because we don't have the military coming after the group, but Tess is bit right here. So we don't have the military aspect just yet. I'm sure that's coming in an upcoming episode or 2 or 3 or 4, but we see that they kill the 1 zombie or whatever you want to call him, and the fungus communicates like a distress signal. So we see that the fungus can be, some path down the road, communicates with the other undead to come to this location. Like, wow, so they send out the radio frequency and Tess is throwing down the gasoline. And when she threw down some of the grenades, I was like, man, Joel, Ellie, grab some of these. These could be pretty useful. And I hope they did because they kind of highlighted it a little bit. It's like a brief moment. You see 2 grenades stop in front of Ellie. I hope she picked up at least one of them because we could use them against the, zombies and or the military when they come around. Because, that's going to happen for the rest of the episodes. So Tess is bit. She's going to sacrifice herself so Joel and Ellie can get away. And I'm guessing they didn't kiss because of the fungus. And then we have the whole lighter stuff, right? She's like, chick, 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 chick. And the zombies are coming in and they're coming here and they're like running by her. They don't go right after her, which I thought was a little different. So as the zombies are coming in, she's still messing with the lighter. The classic, movie stuff, is she going to get the lighter lit so she can burn these suckers? I don't know. And then we have this other, I guess, stalker or whatever you call it, maybe start turning into a clicker. And he comes over to Tess and Tess just lets this guy come all up in her personal space and they make out. No, he puts the fungus in her mouth. And as she's having that, I guess put into her mouth, she's still trying to get the lighter, and then it's like, will she finally get the lighter? It's one of those frustrating things where come on, just get the lighter already. They put a lot of emphasis on it for the drama, you gotta have the drama. And again, as she's making out with this zombie, which is gross, it's pretty gross. It's one of the grossest things that we've seen so far, right? But she finally gets the lighter and we're like, yes, and then she drops it and boom, she ignites the gasoline, and I guess the grenades go off too. And as Joel and Ellie run down the path here, there's the explosion inside the building, killing Tess and the zombies. And great CGI, of course. But I feel bad for Joel because he'll turn around and look at the fireball and the burning, zombies, and he realizes that Tess is gone. But he knew Tess was gone because of the bite. And Joel doesn't really let out his emotions, very much here. But I do like the gun has the wear on it. It doesn't look pristine. It doesn't look great. It's probably 20 years old for sure. And then Joel walks away and Ellie looks on. Very much a nod to the video game. And also I love the idea that Ellie cannot swim because she cannot swim in the video game. Joel has to bring over rafts or planks or pieces of wood in the video game, so maybe she learns to swim and they do that. But I do love all the nods to the video game, and I'm sorry if you don't play the video game, but I can't help it because I have, and I want to know your thoughts. If you don't or didn't play the video game, do you still like the show so far? But it'll probably pick up once more of the Firefly stuff and Fedra, the military, and then of course all the different types of zombies. But let me know your thoughts, post your comments below, like, share, subscribe, support the PT channel when you can, guys. We talk about zombie apocalypse stuff and different shows and movies, of course. But thank you guys either way for all the love and support. We truly can't do it without you guys. Stay safe, and as always, tell them Daryl.